Well, hello guys, welcome to another video. As you can see, we've got something slightly different for you guys today. I finally downloaded the extension to the A320 package, so here we are in the lovely A321 in the Indigo livery, and we are going to be doing a flight from Delhi, part of my sort of like India trip kind of thing. We're going to be doing a flight from Delhi to Kathmandu, and we'll probably be doing the winds doing sort of like a northerly, so we'll be flying into Kathmandu. So unfortunately we won't be doing a real nice RNP approach that wraps around the valley, but we'll definitely do a departure that will do a nice like SID takeoff. But yeah, here we are in Delhi Airport, we'll do a flight there, and then I'll do a return flight in the A319 to give it a go. But this is my very first time flying the Airbus A321, so no, it's really nice to have this finally. I was deciding between that or the Fokker F28, but I've decided to go with this. But I definitely will get the. I'm not too sure yet. Should I get the Fokker 28 or should I wait for the F100 to come out? I'm not too sure. Still deciding on that one. But we will. First, we'll just make sure. We'll just have a look, see where these planes are taxiing to, so we can choose the right departure. It would be really cool if someone does a really good version of this airport, because it needs the second runway, it needs all the stars and whatnot. So I do hope that someone releases. But I see on 24 they've got 2 runways, so that's good. That's a good start. Got something to work with. So let's see where these are 2 conflicting aircraft. Will that one turn left or right? What do you reckon, folks? I mean, I could go to the ATIS and get the fill light. Let's do that, eh? Oh no, looks like they are all turning left, so we will follow them out on that runway. So that's going to be perfect. Runway 20. Alright, what we'll see is runway 20 is... Runway 20 is one of these ones that doesn't exist. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. We'll see what our FMS says, because if you remember in my recentish video, the ATR didn't have any stars or SIDs for these runways here. Anyway, we'll get back in and we'll power this thing up. I do need I should do like a little tutorial on how to do, if you're like me and you don't have time to sit around and like to do everything completely. I'll show you how. I might do like a video on how to go from like a complete amateur to be able to set this all up in like 10 minutes, kind of like 5 minutes kind of thing, and be basically ready to take off. But anyway, but I'll do that. I'll turn on the batteries first. In real life, you go through and do all your system checks, make sure everything's all like gears down and all the rest of it. But we're in Flight Simulator and we know that's all good, so just go straight to external power, turn these switches to nav. These are for your like GPS kind of thing. Can turn this supply crew, the oxygen on. You just want to go through and make sure there's no like lights. You can just do the APU bleed now, get that going, wait 3 seconds and then start the APU, get that literally get that oxygen flowing into the cabin, because I could imagine it's very stuffy. And I like all of my lights bright, all of the background lights. That one is down here. Not that it makes a difference, but I do. There's a little bug, you have to sort of scroll this, make sure these all good. We'll brighten up these screens because it is the daytime. and we'll push the magic B button. I need to assign that to my whatchamacallit, in Flight Simulator 2024. I need to do that. These constraints so they show up on your GPS, on your display thing, and then we will come into our trusty thing here and import our flight plan. So I'm showing you just how to do this quickly as possible so you can get flying straight away. Then while that's loading, I'll quickly go into here because we need this data in this page. So that's done. Our flight number is IGO, which is, and just a random number, so I've just typed in IGO for our actual airline. And 2132 is what I randomly, 2132. And our cost index and altitude is going to be 36 and 37. Done. And our ground temperature, we need to add that in. It's 35 degrees, so we'll definitely be doing a PAX off takeoff for this one. And being Delhi, it is actually a high altitude airport, so you do need all possible. While that's loading, we'll just set this to 37,000 feet. Coming back down here, the winds have been all loaded up, which is great, and then we go to the next page and we can load up our aircraft. So we'll just go, we don't need this anymore, we can now go back to here, mass imbalance, load aircraft, instant, because we just want to get going. Send it to this is all filled in. For some reason, sometimes trip winds work, sometimes they don't, I'm not too sure, it's just a airline setting that this is set to. Yeah, that's done. Now before we do our performance, we need to do our departure first. It's always a good, sometimes you go into your performance page and add it in, but you should have you do need the runway information first before you can do your performance. You'll find in when you do like the 737, and they won't let you do like the performance calculation. You sometimes if you rush ahead, if you're just following the pages, because the 737 that you just click to the next, fill out data, click the next page kind of thing. It's all like, it's got a pretty easy flow. But if you don't, sometimes you just get carried away and you're just doing stuff and forget to put in your departure runway, and you won't be able to get you'll be like looking around going, why can't I get my flap speeds, blah blah blah, why aren't they showing up? And then it's like, oh that's right, I forgot to add in the takeoff data. But this is going to be interesting because they do have, it's going to be runway 29 right, because that's the runway that is modelled in the sim, I think. So 29 right is, we don't have 29 left, it's 29 right. I don't know actually. Actually I'll just go get my drone out and just see what it would be, because let's see what this runway is. We can sort of guess because, oh yeah, it is runway 29 left, because this spare land here is where the current runway is. So yeah, that's 29 left is our departure runway I should say. Right, and let's get back into the plane, and 29 left it is, and let's see. Yep, we've got stars, so obviously there's an issue with the ATR, unless I did 29 right. I might have done 29 right, and because there's no runway in this scale, I don't know, I'm just guessing now. But anyway, 29 left, Alpha Lima Indigo 960, 60, insert. And with these Airbuses, from what I've gathered from watching various YouTube videos, you always have your arrival Airport also entered, and we'll just try and find we'll find the appropriate star. Oh, that looks... oh, no, we're not landing on runway 20. That's for runway 20. What's the actual... might be we are landing on runway 20, eh? In real life, they're landing on runway... whatever runway that is. That's basic maths I can't do. Runway 02. It makes sense, yeah, 02, but... I did... yeah, well, we'll just stick it with that, because no doubt we'll change it, we'll end up running into traffic, and we'll keep it like this, Murphy's Law. But actually, this is a really cool, like, approach. I really wanted to do a nice, fun RNP approach, and that looks like a very fun one to do. Look at that, wraps right round like that. So we'll go with that. So that's arrival 20, RNAV 20, and it's going to be we're just going to add it here, because this will probably know... oh, it's doing alright. Usually it freezes and then you can't... I'm going to have to reset it soon, I know what's going to happen. Look, and you get that thing saying that we're behind schedule, guys. Usually I can get this all pumped out with 6 minutes to spare with the ILS timing down, because it takes about 6 or 7 minutes for that IRS, whatever it is, to figure out the position of the aircraft. So we're going to take the SMR, and in real life you'd use the alpha, that alphabet thing that pilots and whatnot use. Do we have a transition? We're going to use the rattan approach via insert, and just clear all of these, like all of these what should I call them, like little information things in there. Right, now we want to do our performance data, enter and output performance. So we are going to be taking off runway 29 left, which is correct. Sync our load sheet, sync the weather, and we've got set packs off for takeoff, calculate, and then we can just push the send button and send it straight to the FMS, and just make sure that all matches up, and that looks great. And one thing we do, I've never done this until I watched the YouTube videos, we can go, you see that clean speed, we can just type in the clean speed into here, the pre-select, so it won't go above that pre-select speed until you scroll the speed up. You probably wouldn't bother doing this in the airport. Like, I mean, India at the best of times doesn't really fly the flag in looking after people's rights kind of thing, and in regards to, like, I mean, just being straight up and honest, like, it's definitely not like New Zealand or Australia, which is everything's all tied up in health and safety and whatnot. You know, sometimes I'm going to put it out there, being too health and safety conscious, that actually hinders your development and progress, and you're spending more and, you know, like, thinking about the job than actually getting the job done. But India, I don't think they really do care about sound and whatnot, so you ought to do that. You put yours, it's just a sort of a force of habit really, putting that in, but it's mainly for, like, noise sensitive airports. You want to be flying with the throttles at the lowest setting possible to minimise noise, especially airports like Australia. Sydney are very, very noise sensitive residents. Another thing, you live near the airport, that's what you sort of expect kind of thing, but we won't get too much into that. We could put a rest in peace for our comment section mentioning that sort of stuff, but yeah, I don't think India has strict noise policies at the airport, especially when there's all of this area here is it's the best word to describe it, just I guess low socio-economic zone around here, with unfortunate people living in unfortunate conditions around here. So Yeah, I think in real life they wouldn't even bother with this out of India, but that's just to keep it as like a, you know, like a force of habit. If you don't check your stars and as you're taking off you see these speed restrictions kind of thing or noise restrictions, at least it's all set there. And yeah, one thing we will do is we'll, oh no, we won't worry about it. Real world pilots will probably have like set their minimums for go around, but like I said, I don't really simulate that. I'm just more about getting everything set up and just get going kind of thing. I don't really have the time and day to go through this is why I fly this, because A, I'm trying to be a pilot and do everything as much as I can, but also too, I've got that, I do know my limits on how far I want to replicate real world things, and do realise I've got other commitments in life. So this is purely what it is. It's for entertainment purposes only, first and foremost. What you get out of it for your career, if you want to get into become a pilot, that's up to you. But for me, I love to be a pilot. I love to learn as much as I can learn, but also too, I do realise I'm not being paid to fly Flight Simulator from home. I'm not on a 6-figure salary, so I'm happy with my level. And yeah, anyway, we'll get going. That's a bit of a rant, don't want to rant, but I mean, seriously guys, don't let people tell you how to play this, how you should or shouldn't play this simulator. Like, I use time compression all the time. It's a tool. And a real world pilot, I think it was A330 driver, he's a big user of Simrate. It's there as a tool. Why not use it? Why let someone dictate how you should play this, you know? It's all about, and as another pilot said, another pilot laughed at at the forums. I've been, you know, the classic Flight Simulator forums, the official one. One of the pilots laughed and he just said, "Gee, we'll open up the window, eh?" Last time we did this, we completely forgot all about it. We could get some fresh air coming through. Or mind you, that's smoggy air. Maybe we just want air conditioner. Make sure you push this little switch too, and make sure, if you see my previous videos, always make sure you shut this door, otherwise you'll get compression warnings. But yeah, going back to that, there was a pilot on one of those forums. He just laughed at people, like there was like this argument about sim rate or whatever, and performing those full 16-hour flights, and a pilot said, a real world pilot just laughed, and this is like, my god, I wouldn't do that if I'm literally just doing it because I'm getting paid to do it. Any other time, there's better things in my life than spending 16 hours in a cockpit kind of thing, you know. Like, the way he worded it just really put it into perspective, like, borderline, even he doesn't want to do it and he's getting paid to do it, you know. Like, anyway, right, we'll go into here, we'll turn off the external power. It's always a good habit to do that in real life, because all planes are different, but I can imagine there's a good chance of getting a little electric shock, so we don't want that. Right, we will have this on our takeoff page because we need to enter in the trims. We'll actually go to we'll just have it on this flight control page so we can do our trims and whatnot. But we are ready to go, folks. So beacons on, release the parking brake, and we can now oh well, push back, and I've got the Thrustmaster throttle, so I'm just putting into ignition start, and we're going to do a single engine taxi, I reckon. So we'll do taxi, we'll start engine 1. And we'll turn on our transponder. Because we do have a longish taxi, so we'll do a taxi, engine off taxi. Engine 1, single engine taxi. I really do hope that I mean, the detail is here for a freeware airport. It's right there, but I do believe the paid version, which includes the runway, I believe it's not in a good state. So I do hope there is an airport properly done for this. Anyway, that's that engine starting. Sweet, I don't hear any sounds of the engine. Must be so silent that you can't hear them, eh? Right, what we do is we're gonna arm our spoilers. What is it? Flaps 2, is it? And 0.8 up, so I'm using the number key and I'm just gonna set 0.8 other way. 1 on my number pad is my 1 and 7 is my trim, so 0.8. Flaps 2, and we can release what we do need to do first is turn on the yellow hydraulic pump. Select this to open, turn the, do we leave the bleed on or off? I think we leave that on, don't we? Then we switch this to norm, and then single engine taxi, release the parking brake. Taxi lights can come on, runway turn off lights can come on, and we are moving. Definitely need to do some flights with Air New Zealand with this bad boy. It's really nice, isn't it? And I think the great thing is that it's compatible with Flight Simulator 2024, so getting it knowing that it's going to be cross converted without any extra pay is great to know. Which is probably why I'll probably not rush out and get any more PG. Won't get the 737-200 just yet, just to make sure that there is no extra hidden costs. And I've only just discovered this. For those of you who are learning and whatnot and don't have any ATC or to use this to figure out which taxiways to use, I think it's like driving a car. So if we're in Europe, we'll be using this basically left-hand drive kind of thing. If we're in right-hand drive countries like New Zealand, Australia, India, we'll use this taxiway to taxi to wherever you are wanting to taxi. So it's a little bit of inside information there, a little bit of useful information. If you're in a right-hand drive country, then you use this side of the taxiway, just like driving in real life, driving a car really. If you're in the US, you'll be driving in the right hand, left hand, I get confused actually, but yeah, you know what I mean. And we won't use the full length of the runway, we'll use our initiative and common sense, and we'll just use, we will still use most of the full length, but we'll use, we're not doing a long flight, so we'll just use this. What's this one? We use P5 and S5 for our taxi onto the runway, and that should give us lots of length. Right, what we will do is, we're getting close now, we'll start engine number 2. In real life, I think there's like a minimum of 2 minutes of like, so we'll just, what we'll do is we'll just pull on the brake, just get it right down to a crawl, and then we have to turn off the yellow pump, yellow thingamajig pump, select this to that, and then turn it on, and that's how we turn on engine number 2. I'm sure there's another step I had to do. I'm sure you turn that off, I'm not too sure, but right, we are just slowing down a wee bit because I put too much brakes on. And we might as well turn on our TCAS to the full mode, I call it. And we'll do packs. And I think that's the engine sort of started. Just wait for it to hit 20%. And a little sign will come up saying available, so that means it's available, which it's yep. So we can now turn this to auto, turn that, oh, we'll turn this off as well, auto, turn off the bleed, turn off the APU, and we'll just turn off our packs off now. In real life you'll probably wait till the very last moment, but let's assume that the cabin got all of it's really cold now, so we can now do our hydraulics test, make sure all these are working, and we can now set our max parking brake, do our takeoff config. Here we'll turn on this little thing just to clear that warning up there, and we can now just click on this just to take it to the default page that it needs to be on for takeoff. And parking, everything, as you see there's no blue on here, so everything's all set, all ready for our departure. And we'll just strobe lights on, landing lights on. We will wait for this aircraft, and then we will just go straight onto the airport, straight onto the runway. Because I don't know what's happening with the traffic. I don't know if it's aircraft have been taking off and landing, but we'll just, it looks like that aircraft might potentially be frozen, so I'll just carry on. Right, we'll line up for our runway and we will depart Delhi. And I think real world pilots, they just spool up the engines just a bit, sort of throttle up there. Because it's India, they do recommend that you just rolling takeoffs because it's a very congested part of the world. But if nose down, apparently, if you've been watching real world pilots, nose down for a bit. Once you get above 80, 100, you can bring the yoke to. Now we're going through this. That's the N1, and now we can rotate. I've never flown this before, but you have to be careful with the rotate. Don't want to put the tail through the runway. Gear can come up now, and we'll start turning to we'll follow the crosshairs for a bit. Flaps can come up to 1 because we've gone past that flap stage. Reduce our throttles to climb. You can hear it powering down. And we will engage the autopilot. That's pilot can come on. Oh. And we will go into open climb because there is a speed restriction coming up, so we'll just, not speed and altitude restriction, so we'll just disregard that. We'll just pretend we've got clearance all the way up. Flaps 1/slats can come up. We can now disarm the spoilers, and there is a speed restriction here, which is 250, so we can just scroll it all the way up to 250. We can just go to manage speed, and we can turn on our packs like so. Turn off our runway turn off lights because there's no button assigned to that. And we will come into our maintenance page to find the sim rate, and we'll just pump it up to 2 times. Flying over the massive sprawling city that is Delhi, so this must be all of the sprawling settlements. A few tower blocks there. And we can just push the B to go into standard, and that is basically our departure all done. Looks like a golf course down there. You can tell because it stands out like a sore thumb when everything else has got drought image. We'll limit the farmers for using the water for their crops, but we won't limit the golf course that, well, doesn't produce food. Who knows? Alright, the landing gear lights can come off. Seatbelt signs, we can turn those off. We'll pretend it's no device that can go into auto. No sparking up on this flight, buddy. Well, in India it probably wouldn't surprise me if people spark up a cigarette. Once we've gone past this, see the little minus here, we have to be below that altitude, but once we've gone past that we can now put this into managed altitude mode, and we will come into this page and go to our progress. Our optimum altitude is 36,000 feet. Mind you, it's not a long flight, so we're probably not going to get much out of climbing up to 30, so we can just go to 35 there. We'll set that to 35. Make sure upgrade it into here, otherwise it upsets the whole top of climb sort of thing. But yeah, first time flying the Airbus A321. I mean, I hope it's not a wasted purchase. It is definitely a purchase nonetheless. But it's Fenix and it's really good aircraft, and it's not expensive. Not cheap, but maybe I should have gone for the F-28. But so far so good, it's going really well. Flying the lovely Indigo Airlines, but how I understand they are basically like the Jetstar or AirAsia or EasyJet, just your standard low-cost carrier that gets you from A to B. Look at all that, all of those little farmlands and communities. And these rivers would probably be the rivers that flow from where we came from, Ladakh, the Himalayas, the mighty Himalayas. Right, I'll let you leave it at that, folks. And I'll get back to you when we get to the... So until then guys, we'll see you soon, and I'll probably speed this part of the flight up because there's nothing exciting than seeing farmland. So we'll get back to you guys very soon. me. Right guys, we're coming up to our top of descent, so we will, everything's all pretty much set, so all we need to do see what our altitude is, our final approach for it. We'll start scrolling down anyway, because we're going to hit that very soon. And our final approach fix is going to be 74, so we'll scroll it down, wait for this little thing to come up, decelerate, so we can start our descent now, and manage descent mode, and we'll set this to 7 for, once again if you're a real world pilot you'll be setting this for, you know, like whatever altitude you've been cleared for, but we will clear this though, we'll clear this just the Guras waypoint, because that's not supposed to be there, so what we do is we'll just quickly go into plan quickly and just make sure that's as so. Oh perfect, it's got rid of that Guras one, so that's good. Alright, what we do need to do is we need to come back in here and we need to get our descent, landing performance thingamajig, so sync the plyometer, our estimated fuel on board is going to be 4.2. So if we used a bit more fuel than we should have, but that's okay. It's interesting that hasn't updated itself yet. Anyway, it's going to be below 68 tons, so we'll just type in 68 anyway. And we want to try and, I think we probably are going to have to backtrack anyway. If we go to medium brake, that might get us to that taxiway there, but yeah, we'll try and aim for that, but if we aren't going to make that, then we'll just like take off this under, park at the auto brake, and just sort of roll out, and actually we'll just go low brake, and then we can aim for that first turnaround bay. Right, so we need to now enter that data into our performance page, so QNH is going to be 109, 009, 10 plus 27, and 230/9, so 230/9, 27, and our minimum, I think we are category C, so 4705. And that is our performance all done, so we're going to go low, that, turn on the passenger signs, push the magic B button to set our QNH, and we will do this lovely RNP approach into the mountains here, into Kathmandu. A lot more green around here, isn't it? Alright, we're pretty much all set for our arrival into Kathmandu, and we'll see how well this goes. Everything's relatively all set up, which is perfect. perfect. It's actually overridden that end of that star there. And it's frozen, so fingers crossed it doesn't crash. Thank goodness for that. Right, we can now turn on our landing lights, turn on our runway turn off lights. Everything else is pretty good, so we don't need that anymore. Get rid of that space. Don't know why it's not following that. Beautiful approach. Can't wait to do this in 2024. I'm sure the scenery, I mean, this looks pretty spectacular too. But yeah, this will be interesting. It will be sort of your typical Kathmandu airport. The whole city's situated in a basin, so it collects all of that. I'll turn off the sim rate too. There's very little for like the smog and the moisture and stuff to clear, so it just sort of sits in this basin here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into manage speed mode and just take control of this myself. I'm just going to scroll it down to a manageable level, then I'm going to come into my performance page and activate my approach, activate my approach thingamajig here. And then I am going to come into here and I'm just going to go approach mode, and that will just follow that nicely, basically follow this whole departure all the way down. Scroll this down to like 20, just below 220 knots. And I'm going to use some spoiler to pull my speed back down. So we're below that dot. I'm sure you can set your first stage of flaps there. And we're just going to scroll this to next speed restriction is 165. So definitely do need to sort of get ourselves all configured, ready for this approach, because it is going to happen very fast. Flaps 2, use spoilers. Always make sure when you're using your spoilers just to put them in the armed position. Being a single engine, single crew operation this. Can't see much of Kathmandu, can't you? It's pretty minimal visibility here. And we'll probably should lower the landing gear, get ourselves sort of configured. And I think we will use flaps 3 for our we'll use flaps 3, or yeah, we'll stick with flaps, full flaps. Right, we'll go into manage speed now and let it do everything itself. And we will go flaps full now. Actually, what we will do is we'll change this to flaps. I'm sure these full out at high altitude. You have to come up here and go flaps free. Don't know if you need the high altitude warning button because it's... Well, maybe we should turn that on too, just in case. Maybe packs off because we do need power to... I'm just guessing stuff here, so... Right, and make sure you set that flaps free config. Right, we're all set for a flaps 3 landing. Actually, we'll set that to low brakes and we'll just manually brake on as we need it. Right, that's everything set. Our approach has been armed, so that will just disregard that last final approach fix, and we'll set, once we get 300 feet below that, we'll set this to our go around altitude, which is going to be 10,500 feet. Lovely approach into Kathmandu. It's definitely a spectacular approach. Also makes it better with this weather. Right, we can now set this to 10.5. And that should just follow that quite nicely. Look at all these would be like rice paddy fields up here on the outskirts of Kathmandu, up in the, as you see, it's basically in a basin really, surrounded by mountains. Lovely place, Kathmandu. Really enjoyed my time there when I was there. I'll make sure this is all checked and ready.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Disregard that. I don't know how to silence that.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Because if I go up here and disable it, it just disables
terrain ahead. Pull
my
up.
terrain.
Terrain ahead.
Right.
Terrain
Now I'll take
ahead.
this down a
Pull
notch
up.
so we don't get traffic coming at us. Right, we might be conflicting with traffic here, so
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
this is just a game, so we'll just discredit that.
Up.
You guys can tell me where to disable the actual... I thought there's like a button down here that you can disable that terrain callout. Right, let's see how this landing goes, folks. When I was overseas, I took my Xbox controller with me, but ever since then, I feel like for some reason my Airbus my yoke feels very sluggish at the moment, so I might need to play around with settings and whatnot. Anyway, we're coming in to land at Tribhuvan Airport, and can't pronounce that, sorry, but Kathmandu International Airport. Visibility, as you can see, is virtually zero, but I'm sure that those runway lights will come alive soon, and yeah, what I might do is I might just disconnect my autopilot. Yeah, I'm just going to disconnect my autopilot so I don't have to worry about that. Disconnect my auto throttle.
100 above.
Still, oh, there's the runway right there. Oh, this is going to be one of those.
Tank rate. Pull up. Pull up. Tank rate.
Not how I was
100.
expecting it to be, but that's okay.
50. 20. Retard. Retard.
Got there in the end. That was actually quite a smooth landing in general. Always going to miss that taxi off. And we'll just take over the brake there and just put our foot on the brakes a bit. And that's us, folks. We've landed at Kathmandu. We can get rid of the spoilers, flaps can come up, landing lights can come off. A bit more on the brakes there to get that brake right down. thought the lights would be a bit more brighter than what they are, but that's alright. Right, now we will turn this off to just have the transponder on. We can turn off our runway turn off lights. We will turn on our taxi lights. We can turn on the APU bleed and the APU, turn on our packs back on, start the APU. Have that yellow pump thing on because we will do single engine taxi in once we get. We'll wait for the engines just to cool down just a bit more. Right, we can turn off our strobe lights. And here we are, folks, at Kathmandu Airport, Kathmandu International Airport. And we can now turn off engine number 2. And we'll do a single engine taxi onto parking stands. We can now turn off that. Turn that off, we can turn that off. And that's us. This is definitely another airport that needs like a real good developer, just to, unless there has been a good developer that's done this airport. I mean the detail this freeware's gone is pretty good too. Just it's missing that little turning bay just up there, but that's just nitpicking. I'm not too sure if there should be more or brighter lights coming into the airport. Approach lights and runway lights, but no, this is pretty good. I mean, all of that is all like extra stuff. It's no, look at that, that's in Hindi language. It's really good detail actually. I shouldn't complain. Alright, we're coming up to the international terminal here, and we'll do a return flight back to Indira Gandhi International Airport with the A321, but from here we will get one of these dash 6s, the Trotter, and we'll go up to Lukla and we'll take the helicopter out and go for explore to base camp, and we'll do another flight to Shutdown National Park with the ATR 72 with whatever livery we choose. And when we come, we'll definitely revisit Nepal and we'll do a few like domestic flights with the ATRs, go to all the different airports, and we'll definitely do that again with Flight Simulator 2024 once it becomes more and more stable. But we won't use these gates, these are for heavy aircraft. We'll carry along and we'll park next to what looks to be Bhutan Air, which is another airport we need to try and master, landing at the challenging Bhutan airport. But actually we'll carry on, we'll park in this stand here. This will do, turn off our taxi lights. And here we are, a successful landing with the my very first time flying the Airbus A321. So thank you for being a part of this flight. We'll do the forward engine shutdown, rude not to. Might need a bit more engine. I don't know if the A321s actually do single engine taxis because they are a bit of a heavy aircraft, aren't they? And this is a high altitude airport at a very high temperature, so I might be breaking rules here, but Flight Simulator 2020/24, rules are meant to be broken. Right, we'll come right to the very first T-bar there. Come right to the top of the T, not that one. This one here, we'll brake for this one. And there we go. Parking brake on, can turn off the engines, turn off the transponder. We can disarm all of the those things there. We can turn off these pumps, and while you're turning off these fuel pumps, this is when you turn on your electrical supply. Turn off our beaker, and now we can deboard. We'll come into our main page here, and we can open up all of these doors. Oh, wrong one. Number 4 can come open. We'll open up these back ones too for the pretend. Oh, we'll turn on the external power. And we are here, folks. Malaysian Airlines just magically disappeared as well, so I do not know where that went. But here we are. Locally Airport, a lovely airport to land in, a really nice approach. I'm glad we did that approach. And we will see you on the return flight with the A319. Yeah, what a stunning aircraft. Alright folks, we'll see you again shortly.